investment hat. But before we do, staying with kind of the macro picture here. So we've got crypto as an internet 2.0, but you also said something super interesting in a podcast I was listening to recently, Mark, which is DeFi is America 2.0, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, famously, America made some fantastic strides in the early internet, laid out some massive infrastructure, created a home for Silicon Valley, and has really led the way on the internet revolution up to this point. Do you think that DeFi and crypto could be like an America 2.0? How important is it for politicians and Main Street to get their arms wrapped around how important this could be for the US as a country?
Ryan, that's a really interesting question, because the reality is, the strongest plays and the players are not American, right? We talk a lot about it, but the biggest money doesn't come from here, and the biggest, day-to-day usage from everyday people is not happening here, right? It's happening elsewhere around the world, but a lot of the development, not even the biggest, is happening here, right? A lot of the biggest and the original stuff that's been going on for a while is happening in Asia. And so, we have the opportunity to really have an impact, but we can't think, Americans like to think that we're always the biggest and best at everything, but we're not really in this particular case. And that can be concerning, because if we don't, it's just like, look, most of the internet's in English, right? In terms of the governance, DNS, et cetera. And so we've got to really, hopefully, be a leader in this. Now, there's a lot of ways to discuss that. Does that mean selling half the gold in Fort Knox and buying a basket of Bitcoin and Ethereum and maybe some others? I would be all for that, because I think gold is useless, right? Gold bugs will tell you that, well, it has intrinsic value. It has this much intrinsic value for manufacturing applications, and all that jewelry usage. There's no law. There's no law of physics that says gold jewelry is more valuable than any other metal being, created into jewelry, or for plastics in jewelry for that matter, right? That's just a narrative that we've all accepted. Hey, gold is better, gold band, gold jewelry, whatever, and so every store of value has a story, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, or gold. And so if we're going to have a store of value that at least is more useful, I'd rather have Bitcoin and Ethereum in Fort Knox than I would gold. But a lot of that is just, we need as a country to start recognizing that crypto is real. And two, it makes better business sense as a country than it does for a lot of other applications. I'll give you an example. If we created our own USDC, right, issued by the Treasury, we lose money on every penny minted. We lose money on every nickel, dime, and maybe even quarter minted. We lose money on dollars and having to recycle them, right? It's bad business. And now with the pandemic, where if you have to go into a store, if you still go into a store and you have to use cash and you get change back or you get dollars back, your first thought is, should I even touch that thing, right? And so with trying to get to a touchless society for economics, USDC issued by the Treasury makes perfect sense. And so being a leader there, and I think hopefully we'll have conversations with politicians and leaders in government to convey to them that 99% of transactions are already digital, right? We already have a USDC. It just doesn't get down to the consumer or retail level. We just don't call it that, right? When I do a wire transfer, it's in dollars, but it's all digital. No one's, printing anything out, hopefully, to confirm it until after the transaction. And then therein lies the rub, because all the centralized interests, government, but even more so the big banks, they have a vested interest in not seeing this happen, at least the way things are set up right now. And so that's going to be the battle.